there was a man who was doubted early in his cricket career. A man who had to fight for his place, endure criticism, and prove that talent means very little if you cannot keep going. And decades later, that same man would face an entirely different kind of challenge. One that would test his patience, conviction, and ability to keep standing through years of resistance. But here is the part of his story that matters most. Not the fame, not the trophies, not the politics, the mindset. Because by the end of this video, you will understand one powerful idea that kept appearing throughout. Imran Khan's journey from cricket to building a cancer hospital to spending more than 2 decades building a political movement, and once you understand it, you may start looking at your own failures differently. Imran Khan's cricket career was not an overnight success story. He entered international cricket as a young fast bowler and gradually developed into one of Pakistan's most important cricketers. He faced criticism and setbacks along the way, but instead of allowing early judgment to define him, he kept improving. Then came 1992. Pakistan entered the Cricket World Cup under his captaincy. The tournament did not begin like a fairy tale. The team struggled early and found itself in a difficult position. But they did not simply accept the situation. They fought their way forward, match by match, pressure by pressure. And eventually, Pakistan reached the final against England. On March 25, 1992, at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, Pakistan won the World Cup. Imran Khan lifted the trophy as captain. That moment is remembered as one of the greatest achievements in Pakistan's sporting history. But there is a deeper lesson hidden behind that image. The trophy was visible. The years of struggle were not. People often celebrate the final result while forgetting everything that happened before it. That is exactly what happens in our own lives. Someone gets a scholarship and we see the scholarship. Someone becomes successful online and we see the followers. Someone gets the job and we see the salary. We rarely see the hundreds of times they question themselves. We rarely see the rejection letters, the failed attempts, the nights when they wanted to quit. And that is why Imran Khan's cricket journey matters as a mindset story. The lesson is not that believing in yourself guarantees victory. It doesn't. The lesson is that without believing in yourself, you may quit before your opportunity ever arrives. And after cricket, Imran Khan's biggest challenge was still waiting. Because winning a World Cup was one thing, building something from nothing was another. But this was only the beginning. The real test was still ahead. In 1996, Imran Khan founded Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, commonly known as PTI. At that point, he had already achieved what most people could only dream about. He had been a world-class cricketer. He had captained Pakistan to a World Cup victory. He had international fame. But politics was a completely different game. And suddenly, the man who had once been celebrated as a cricket hero was entering a world where success would not come quickly. The early political years were difficult. PTI struggled electorally. In the 1997 general election, the party won no National Assembly seats. In 2002, Imran Khan was the party's only successful National Assembly candidate. The party later boycotted the 2008 election. Years passed, then more years, and the dream still had not become reality. Imagine trying something for 1 year and failing. It hurts. Now imagine trying for 5 years, then 10, then 15, then 20. At some point, people around you may begin asking a simple question. When are you going to give up? That question can be more dangerous than failure itself, because failure hurts your results. But other people's opinions can attack your identity. They can make you wonder whether the dream itself was foolish. Imran Khan continued with PTI for more than 2 decades before the 2018 general election, when the party emerged as the largest party in the National Assembly, and he became Prime Minister. That was 22 years after PTI was founded. Think about that. 22 years. For most young people, 2 years feels like forever. 2 years of studying for an exam, 2 years of building a YouTube channel, 2 years of learning a skill, 2 years of applying for jobs. And when results don't come quickly, we start thinking, Maybe I'm not good enough. But sometimes the problem isn't your ability. Sometimes you're simply judging a long journey by a short timeline. Imran Khan's political career demonstrates something important. Persistence does not mean repeating the exact same mistake forever. It means continuing toward a meaningful goal while learning, adapting, and accepting that progress may take much longer than you expected. And there is another important lesson. You don't need everyone to believe in your dream before you begin. Sometimes belief comes first. Evidence comes later. That doesn't mean every dream will succeed. It means you should not automatically abandon a worthwhile goal simply because the first few attempts failed. For years, the political project remained small. Then, gradually, circumstances changed. Support changed. The organization changed. And eventually, the result changed. So ask yourself, what would happen if you stopped demanding immediate proof that your dream was going to work? What if you gave yourself permission to build slowly? What if one failure didn't become your final verdict? Because that leads to the real question. So what kept him from walking away? The answer becomes clearer when you look at another chapter of Imran Khan's life, Shaukat Khanum. After his mother, Shaukat Khanum, died from cancer in 1985, Imran Khan became determined to establish a cancer hospital in Pakistan. It was an enormous ambition. And according to the Shaukat Khanum account of the project, the idea faced significant skepticism. During consultations with doctors, the majority considered the hospital project unfeasible, while even the doctor, who believed the hospital could be built, warned that providing free cancer treatment would be extremely difficult because of the cost. Now pause there, because this is where the mindset becomes interesting. He did not have the final hospital when he started. He had a vision. He had a reason. And he had a massive gap between where he was and where he wanted to be. That gap is where most people quit. Because when you look at the entire mountain at once, the mountain looks impossible. But when you focus on the next step, it becomes manageable. Fundraising began. People contributed. School children became involved. Ordinary Pakistanis participated. The project continued despite financial difficulties, and eventually, Shaukat Khanum Memorial Cancer Hospital opened in Lahore in 1994. Now bring this story into your own life. Maybe you failed an exam. Maybe you're watching your classmates move ahead while you feel stuck. Maybe you started learning a skill and quit because you weren't good after 30 days. Maybe you uploaded videos and nobody watched them. Maybe you applied for opportunities and kept getting rejected. Maybe people around you told you, you can't do this. You're wasting your time. Be realistic. Sometimes they may even be right about the difficulty. But difficulty and impossibility are not the same thing. That distinction matters. Self-belief does not mean telling yourself that you are guaranteed to win. Self-belief means saying, I don't know whether I will win yet, but I am willing to keep working. That is a much stronger form of confidence, because confidence based only on results disappears when results disappear. But confidence based on commitment can survive failure. And this is where you need to change the question you ask yourself. Don't ask, why am I not successful yet? Ask, what can I improve today? Don't ask, why is everyone ahead of me? Ask, what is my next step? Don't ask, what will people say if I fail? Ask, what will happen if fear makes the decision for me? You are not required to prove your entire future today. You only need to win today's battle. Study one more hour. Practice one more time. Apply one more time. Create one more video. Learn one more skill. Get rejected? Learn. Fail. Adjust. Fall. Stand up. Because the person who keeps moving has something. The person who quits can never have another chance. And that brings us to the final chapter. Because even after achieving extraordinary results, the story did not simply become easy. After 22 years of political struggle, Imran Khan and PTI achieved a major electoral breakthrough in 2018. PTI became the largest party in the National Assembly, and Imran Khan became Pakistan's Prime Minister. The journey that had begun in 1996 had finally produced a result. But remember the question from the beginning. What was the secret? It wasn't that every decision was perfect. It wasn't that every attempt succeeded. And it wasn't that circumstances always went his way. The deeper lesson is simpler. He kept showing up. That is what makes long-term goals so difficult. Anyone can work hard when the results are visible. The real test comes when nobody knows whether your effort will pay off. After 2023, Imran Khan entered another extremely difficult period of his life, including arrest, imprisonment, and continuing legal proceedings. As of August 2026, he remains in detention. While different parties and institutions have made differing statements regarding aspects of his legal and medical circumstances, we don't need to take a political side to understand the personal dimension of that experience. It is a serious hardship. And according to his own public statements, he has continued to hold on to his beliefs. You can form your own conclusions about the political and legal issues. But for this story, there is a more universal question. What does a person do when circumstances become extremely difficult? That is where the mindset matters. Because talent can open a door, circumstances can close one. But consistency determines whether you keep looking for another door. And self-belief determines whether you keep walking after the first door closes. Think about your own life. What's the one thing you failed at again and again? The exam? The business idea? The YouTube channel? The skill you're learning? The fitness goal? The career you want? Now ask yourself something uncomfortable. Have you actually failed? Or have you simply stopped before giving yourself enough attempts? Of course, there are times when quitting is the correct decision. Sometimes a goal needs to change. Sometimes the strategy needs to change. Sometimes you need to walk away from something unhealthy. But don't confuse changing your strategy with abandoning your potential. If the goal still matters, try again, but smarter. Try again, but better prepared. Try again, but with a new strategy. Because your first failure is information. Your second failure is information. Your third failure is information. The real danger is turning failure into an identity. You are not your last result. You are not your worst exam. You are not your smallest audience. You are not the opinion someone has about you. You are the person who decides what happens next. So here's the mindset I want you to remember. Consistency when nobody is watching. Self-belief when results are missing. And the courage to continue when the timeline gets longer than you expected. That is the secret. Not perfection. Not luck. Not instant success. Keep believing. Keep learning. Keep moving. Because sometimes the difference between the person who makes it and the person who gives up isn't talent. It's one more attempt. So if you're standing at the beginning of your own journey right now, don't worry about becoming successful overnight. Build yourself. One day, one skill, one failure, one lesson, one more attempt. And maybe years from now, you'll look back at the moment when you almost quit and realize that was the moment you needed to keep going the most. Your story is not finished just because the current chapter is difficult. If this message helped you, leave a like, subscribe to Mind Fuel Motivations, and keep moving forward, because your next chapter could be the one that changes everything.